Hello, everyone. Today we'll examine another tragic case together. Martin Gardner sat on his porch, holding a cherished photo album, a symbol of his profound loss. His gaze lingered on images of his children, Talon, Saya, Savi, and Yazi, the last remnants of his once happy life. Their innocent faces seemed to bring back echoes of laughter and joy, filling his desolate home with warmth. Once upon a time, Martin cherished his 4-year-old son, Talon, dreaming of sharing his wisdom and bonding over beer when Talon became an adult and Martin grew old. Little Saya, at 3 years old, always greeted her father with her cloth doll in hand when he returned from work. She never forgot to ask for a kiss for both her and her doll before bedtime. Her father cherished this routine, performing it with love and solemnity, always bringing a smile to his face. Savi, aged 2, displayed a quiet intelligence, enjoying books and animal documentaries. Martin would often sit her on his lap, reading her favorite stories, envisioning her as a future accomplished woman destined for greatness. Yazi, the youngest, was a tiny baby with deep black eyes mirroring her mother, Shanynthia Gardner. Martin found a world of love, comfort, and children's laughter in her gaze. However, that world shattered on one fateful day. Shanynthia Gardner, born in the late 80s in Memphis, Tennessee, was raised by her mother, Eleanor Snodgrass, in the cozy cabins of Madison, Alabama. Her childhood was typical, marked by routine and surrounded by loyal friends. With her curly hair and slender beauty, Shanynthia showed early signs of talent and charm. Shanynthia possessed a true creative spirit, gifted in composing songs and expressing herself through music. Her vocal talent made her a local celebrity, but she was also drawn to fashion and photography, effortlessly transforming everyday moments into art. Despite her colorful hobbies, she remained deeply charitable, devoted to her family and religion, regularly attending church. With her life seemingly well set, a bright future awaited Shanynthia. At 14, Shanynthia met Daryl Clayton through mutual friends, sparking a friendship that deepened into a serious relationship by their high school graduation. Despite minor run-ins with the law, they were seen as stable young adults. However, in 2008, Daryl faced serious accusations of assault, though fortunately, all charges were eventually dropped. In 2008, Shanynthia and Daryl, though not married, lived together and welcomed a son named Dallin. Shanynthia embraced motherhood not only for their son, but also for Daryl's children from a previous relationship with Sonia Clayton. Daryl's mother saw Shanynthia as an integral part of the family, appreciating her dedication and care for the children, which endeared her to Sonia. Their romantic relationship was short-lived, with little known about the specifics of their breakup. Despite this, they maintained some distant communication afterward. In Daryl's eyes, Shanynthia continued to be a good partner and caring mother. When Dallin was only 2 years old, Shanynthia encountered a minor incident, likely a parking ticket or a trivial argument. However, it paled in comparison to what lay ahead for her. Marrying Martin Gardner marked a new chapter in Shaninthia's life, where she found joy and stability. Martin, captivated by Shaninthia's kindness and love for children, saw in her a wellspring of feminine tenderness and wisdom. Their relationship blossomed quickly, leading them to move into an apartment complex in southeast Shelby County in September 2013. Their wedding signaled the beginning of a new journey together. Shortly after, they welcomed their first child, Talon, and in 2014, Saya joined their family. Soon, Savi and Yazi joined Martin and Shaninthia's family, adding to their joy and activity. Together, they had 4 children, plus one from Shaninthia's earlier relationship. Shanynthia prioritized her children, balancing part-time work at the Children's Hospital with fundraising efforts for children's causes. Devoted to her calling, she dedicated her life to aiding those in need. On July 1st, 2016, an apparently ordinary day, Shanynthia spoke calmly with her husband, Martin, mentioning plans to watch a movie with the kids. Little did they know this seemingly uneventful day was on the brink of a tragic turn. During a quiet conversation, Shaninthia's behavior inexplicably shifted. She grabbed a kitchen knife and attacked her 6-month-old daughter, Yasi, in the living room, tragically ending the infant's life. 7-year-old Dallin witnessed the horrifying scene, too young to comprehend the tragedy unfolding before him. His only thought was to save his younger siblings. In a panic, he fled from the house. Shanynthia pursued her son with a knife, intent on continuing her terrifying actions. Dallin's screams alerted neighbors, who rushed outside to witness the unfolding nightmare that would haunt them. Recognizing she was being observed, Shanynthia halted her pursuit. Yet the horror was far from over. She returned to the house where Savi and Talon awaited her, distraught. She entered the bedroom where the little ones lay, sealing their fate in their final innocent moments. Witnesses wasted no time and immediately dialed emergency services, pleading for help to rescue Dallin and his siblings. Unbeknownst to them at the time, the peaceful street would soon be engulfed in tragic consequences. Sheriff's personnel arrived at 7449 Southern Hill Drive to a chilling scene. Shanynthia and her 4 children lay lifeless, covered in blood, leaving everyone in shock. With her cell phone in hand, Shanynthia coldly dialed her husband Martin's number, confessing to the unimaginable act. The tragedy that unfolded in this quiet neighborhood would forever haunt its residents. By the time the prosecutor's office and special unit arrived, the horror had subsided, leaving behind only an eerie silence. Once a happy home for the Gardner family, the house now held blood and horror in every corner. Investigators held a bloody knife, a silent testament to the gruesome incident. Chaplains and specialists arrived to aid Dallin, shocked by the severity of his ordeal, prompting immediate intervention. Law enforcement urged residents to remain indoors during investigations, acknowledging the pervasive fear and uncertainty among some who already considered home their only sanctuary. A major operation led sheriff's officials to close off the apartment complex, including the golf area and country club. Shanynthia was apprehended without bail and her trial set for July 5th. Despite Shanintia's portrayal as monstrous, co-worker Michelle Jaiman highlighted her as a mother and partner who fostered love, care, and joy. Michelle defended Shanynthia vehemently on social media, citing the unfairness of the allegations and emphasizing postpartum depression. Dr. Joel Risman, a psychiatrist at the University of Tennessee Medical Center, noted the rarity of maternal filicide and its association with mental illness, underscoring the state's insufficient mental health funding, leaving many families unsupported. Dr. Diane Barnes, a specialist in psychology and postpartum health, clarified the distinction between postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis, stressing their distinct symptoms and nature. While Shaninthia's specific condition warranted deeper examination, Dr. Barnes expressed skepticism that women experiencing postpartum depression would engage in such behavior, leaning instead towards a diagnosis of psychosis. The investigation into Shanynthia Gardner's case was tough. Her lawyer, Craig Morton, refrained from commenting to the media early on, considering it premature. On July 5, 2016, Shanynthia appeared via video link at the court hearing, remaining silent despite Judge L. Lammy's questions. Following the trial, she was sent to the Mental Health Institute. Her relatives attended court, but chose not to speak to reporters. Both Morton and prosecutor Jennifer Nichols aimed to file a motion to preserve evidence, including social media data. In January 2017, Shanynthia faced 4 charges: aggravated child abuse, aggravated murder with a deadly weapon, and child neglect. The ongoing investigation left the community seeking justice and answers. During the hearing, Shaninthia's loved ones testified. Sonia Drill's mother was shocked upon learning of the tragedy and rushed to the scene to find her grandson. Sonia insisted that the events were unrelated to the young woman she once knew and suggested a possible supernatural or diabolical influence. Over time, Sonia began to consider possible motives, speculating that Shanynthia and her partner might have been facing divorce. She pondered whether Shanynthia, overwhelmed by the prospect of caring for 5 children alone, made a tragic decision. Yet, despite these thoughts, Sonia struggled to reconcile this with the person she once knew. Similarly, Drill's father couldn't accept Shaninthia's guilt. He recalled how Shaninthia's behavior became increasingly extreme after their relationship ended in November 2014, preventing him from seeing his son. Despite his efforts, he was shut out from his son's life. In reality, Shaninthia's loved ones had noticed a surprising change in her. She started feeling uneasy, which escalated to anxiety, paranoia, and panic attacks. Her actions became erratic, raising suspicions of postpartum depression, surprising everyone as Shanynthia was typically seen as strong and reliable. Many questioned the cause of her sudden transformation. It all began in March 2015, when Shanynthia exhibited peculiar behavior, leaving her loved ones puzzled. One day, she abruptly left work, collected her 5 children, and drove aimlessly away from home. Initially presumed to be a routine walk, her prolonged absence led her husband to alert authorities. Shanynthia eventually surfaced in a hospital 74 miles from Memphis, bewilderingly injured. Through speculation arose about her intent, only her young children could have witnessed any attempt if there was one, but they were unaware of the gravity of the situation. After authorities brought Shanynthia home, her behavior took a more alarming turn. She confided in Martin about feeling threatened, though she offered no specifics or prior instances of such threats. Additionally, she began expressing dissatisfaction with her job and workload to family and friends, alleging some co-workers had ill intentions toward her. Despite these concerns, there were no signs of abuse or violence from Shanynthia toward her children or others. The trial, greatly prolonged by extensive psychiatric evaluations and further exacerbated by the COVID pandemic, commenced in 2021, far beyond anticipated timelines. The defense centered its argument on Shaninthia's mental illness, while prosecutors, though acknowledging her condition, contended that she remained cognizant of her actions' legality and moral implications. In December 2021, Shelby County Criminal Court Judge James dismissed the defense's argument, finding Shanynthia Gardner guilty of all charges. Subsequently, in February 2022, Shanynthia, 34, attended her sentencing hearing alongside her husband, Martin. Judge James imposed life sentences for each murder count and 15 years for each charge of child abuse and neglect. Shanynthia can only seek parole after serving 51 years, accounting for the 5 years spent in prison pre-sentencing. Thus, she becomes eligible for parole around the age of 80. The prosecutor agreed with the sentencing as it aligned with seeking justice for Martin and his children. Martin expressed relief knowing Shanynthia couldn't harm children again. Sonia D's grandmother joined neighbors, family, and law enforcement at an evening vigil in their apartment complex. Attendees held candles praying for the departed souls. The Baptist church pastor noted the vigil marked the community's healing start, emphasizing support for the surviving baby and father. Daryl didn't attend, Sonia citing his overwhelming anger. The hospital's president and CEO, along with Martin's colleagues, offered condolences and support. Martin, amidst his grief, displayed remarkable strength and grace as he spoke about his children and family during the ceremony. He emphasized that his home will forever be filled with happiness, remembering his children and Shanynthia. Thanks for watching, everyone. Like and subscribe my channel. There are many more shocking stories ahead.